Okay, today I want to talk about normtools, which is a toolkit for Max MSP that I built. Okay, so normtools is a set of generators that is based on a normal distribution. So it generates patterns and rhythms and offset for arpeggiators based on normal distribution. It's made of 3 tools at the moment, which are norm rhythm, and norm random note. The first is a very simple object that just generates just samples a normal distribution based on a mean and sigma, and yeah, it's quite useful for modulation, like filters based on a central mean, and it kind of shifts around just a little bit. Depends. It depends on the sigma. It's not full random. It's more controlled. And the second tool is norm rhythm, which is a gate that skips steps based on a normal distribution. So, for example, let's plot a normal distribution, Gaussian plot. Yeah, let's go. Here we are. All right, perfect. This one is good. So, for example, this one, the gate will skip 2, and once it skip 2, it just extract a random value again. Maybe it's like here, so it'll go 1. Maybe it's like here, so it'll go 3. And it's just jumping around this. But mainly, most of the time, it will skip 2. So it's not full random. Each value, it's not equally probable. And that's the interesting part. Because we kind of have a solid ground, which is skipping 2, and then some variation, not full random. Random note, it's a bit more complicated, a bit more complex, and it's an arpeggiator that gives an offset based on a shift and on dissonance level. So basically, what I've done with this is taking the harmonic series, and the Gaussian is on that. So if you think like it's like this, for example, but these are not the like semitones or tones or whatever, but these are the harmonics. So the fundamental, the first, second, third, and whatever, and both sides. So it goes up octaves and down octaves. It's quite interesting. You'll hear soon. Yeah. So let's go on. How I did that? I did with the Max MSP SDK. So it's Max Software Development Kit. Here we go. The documentation is here. This one is the download link. This is documentation. Here we go. See, this is documentation, and it's quite complete. It's very, the documentation is good. It's depends how you handle C and build systems. It's a lot of CMake configuration and stuff like that, at least a lot for me. I'm not that good at C, at build system. I'm more like scripting, Python, Lua, and whatever. But yeah, I did with that, with the Max SDK, and yeah, that's it. The normal distribution sampling part is the most interesting on the technical scope. It's it's using the Box-Muller transform, which is done for that because it's not very simple to sample on a normal distribution, because it's the integral cannot be calculated continuously with a function. So it's kind of complex maths, and I did not understand it fully, but the implementation it's quite straightforward, and yeah, I use this. It's very fast, very simple, not yeah, it's straightforward for a computer. So another interesting part is consonance and dissonance, and we're going to listen a bit with this topic. So yeah, I wanted the consonant intervals to be the more common and probable and the dissonant ones to be the least common. Sampling intervals was not going to work. As I said, if I just sampled like a semitone, a tone, a half step, a full step, and stuff like that, it was going to sound bad, because I mean, if I have the root here, for example, then half step up and half step down are very dissonant, and those are very common, much more common than a major third, for example, and that wasn't gonna do it for me. So I thought about going to just intonation. So if we Google just intonation, basically every interval is based on a ratio. So for example, well, of course the octave is 2, and the fifth is 3/2, the sixth is 5/3, and stuff like that. And sampling these is much easier. For example, what I actually did is, like, I picked with the samples, I divide one by the other, and so this one is much more common than this one, because for example, if we get this and we make it a little bit like that, right? So that we have 8 under and 15 over, it's like very improbable. But to have 2/3 or 3/2, it's quite common. So yeah, that's how it works, and this is the code. It's very simple. Here is explained in detail, but it's basically what I said. So let's go to some examples. We're going to listen to a bit of different random ideas. So this one is full random. It's full random in steps. So half steps. So it's like let's plot it. It's like this expression, y equals to 1/24. 1/24. Here we go. Yeah. This one is not very, we got to flatten it out. Let's zoom a bit in an intelligent way. So how can we do that? Probably like -0.1. This is gonna be 0.5, right? I'm not liking it. I think we'll go even. Okay, right. and this goes from like -1 to 24. Oh, we broke it. No, this one is -1 to 24, and this is -0.1 to 0.5. All right, here we have it. Okay, so this one is basically what's happening. We shifted this one a little bit up. As you see, every step it's equally probable. So let's listen to it. It's a middle C, a nice 60 MIDI note, and as you hear, it's fully random. With a normal distribution, we have okay. Let me see. I think it's this one is 4. Yeah. And this one is 12. No, 12. Right. So you see, we have roughly the same range, but it's the probability is much more high around 12 and much lower around 0 and 24. So it's what I've set up here. And yeah, here we go. As you can see from this number, which we keep much more closer to 12, and stuff like 2 or 22, it's not very likely. Sometimes it happens, but we are much closer to 12, and it kind of gives this center sound. But this can be cool for filtering and distortion and parameters that continuous in also we perceive as continuous, but pitch is not one of them. So I built this one, the random note, which is based on the harmonic series. So we can, this one is the shift, so it's like this on the harmonics, and this one is, and the other one is the variance. So for example, if we have 0 shift and 0 variance, it's going to always give the fundamental. When we step up the variance a little bit, as you can see, as you can hear better, let's pump it a little more. Let's go. This is 2 octave ups, a fifth down, and these are mainly fifths and fourths, and because they are fifth but down, and octaves, unisons. But as you hear, we clearly have this C as a root. This one can be like pumped up really high, and that makes the interval more complex and dissonant. With this, I shift up to on the harmonic series. So these are mainly up. It's best perceived when variance is low, for example, like this. And this is down to the other side. It's very simple but very effective, in my opinion. All right, so that's me. Why did I do all this? Well, first of all, I wanted to try out the Max SDK, and it was difficult at first mainly for the build system. The C code is not that hard. We can see a bit of it. Like this one is one component. They give you like an empty one, so you define the methods, functions / methods of the thing, and it's, as you can see, C is not very, it's not object oriented, but they use it like with an object oriented approach. We define a struct here, and it's kinda object oriented. We add the methods, and here we define the methods, the constructor, for example, and what each inlet does, what the calculation is inside of it, and here is the function for normal distribution sampling. The norm rhythm, it's very similar. Again, all this stuff, it's like the other, and here we have the rhythm part, in which we skip counts based on the normal distribution. I can show you that to you. Like, let's do a norm rhythm. Here we go. We got two floats. Let's make this, I don't know, 3, 4, all right, and a bit of variance, like this. And let's put a bang here. And another bang here. This is the input one. Let's set a method to half a second. Toggle. Let's go in like this. See, it made 5, then 4. It was 5 again, I think. This was 3. This was 6. So yeah, it's this type of gate. I think it's interesting. It sounds. I think it could be even more useful if I added like a subdivision. Instead of like go 5, instead of 4, it goes like 8. So it kind of subdivision instead of like summing, straightforward sum. Yeah, so this is random norm rhythm. Let's stop this one. Okay, so yeah, this is, as always, the box Mueller. Another motive behind this one is against data sonification. That means that, at least in fixed media, I hear a lot of data sonification, which is just calibrating the system to the data and then listen to it. But in fact, most of the data is normal distributed, so you're just like adjusting your normal distribution and then playing a normal distribution, and then that sucks out all the meaning of the data. You're just, with the calibration, you're just squeezing the normal distribution with sum and multiplication, and yeah, it's not that interesting. But that it's in fixed media. For live sonification and installations, I think it's very interesting. And this toolkit, because you see the data is produced in real time, so you see that happening. It's not like you're listening afterwards and not linking to the data, but you're seeing the data produced in real time. So it's much more interesting. And I think that this toolkit provides a set of tools to test beforehand. Like you foresee you're going to have a normal distribution here and there, and you can try it out in Max without actually connecting to the data stream or setting up sensors and stuff like that. So yeah, last thing I wanted to, let's see if we are actually recording first. Yeah, we recorded some stuff. It's pretty good. Well, I want to live with can save this, yeah. With like a work a thing. It's this one, yeah. Here I have 4. Oh, looks like they're broken. Oh no, they're not broken. What's this preset, the last one? Let's hope for that. Let's see. Are we reaching Reaper? Are we reaching Reaper? Yes, we are. Yes, we are, but it's muted. Okay, cool. So this one is basically there are rhythm generators that change the pitch of 4 sine generators, and the variance is the variance and the and the shift of this pitch is controlled by another norm rhythm. So yeah, it's everything gets normally distributed, and it goes in Reaper, and it's like goes to this bus which has a tape effect, which I like. The wow and flutter make it more interesting. A bit of noise, maybe you can lower it, and then a huge reverb with a fade in, which like evens out the sound and make it ambient. Some distortion, which I always like, and you should like as well. And yeah, here we go. Let's hear it. This is the tape. Let's go. As you can see here, are all the offsets, and they're changing quite slowly, but it's like making up chords. Sometimes they are dissonant, sometimes, most of the time, they are quite peaceful, and that's the idea behind all this system. As you can see, these normally them are quite slow, very slow paced. It's intended to be slow ambient. All right, I think it's enough. I think you got it. We've been brief, just 25 minutes. Cool. Gonna upload this and see you next time.